Let's make sure we're recording. Yes, we are. And congratulations, you have made it to the fourth module, the fourth and final module of the 12-week course for Creating a Mind with Heart here at the Mind with Heart Virtual Learning Center using Heart Compass Life Navigation System. And this module is all about practice, 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 practice. In the first module, we were getting the brain ready so that you could connect to the heart. And I gave you the Heart Compass Owner's Manual so you could start using that 5-step system or 3-step system, depending how you look at it, right away. And then module 3 was more metaphysical, philosophical, and we talked about the science of the heart and the mind versus the heart and the brain. But now we want to really get down to the nuts and bolts of this and applying it to, excuse me, your real life. So one of the things that I have discovered doing this course, and thank you so much for being here and participating and asking all these questions, giving me feedback, it has made me aware that Heart Compass Life Navigation is actually a system that integrates all of these core processes or science and philosophy, all these different areas. It starts with mindfulness and awareness. We move into neuroscience, where we are moving activity from the amygdala to the prefrontal cortex. It integrates heart math, heart coherence, where we get that heart-brain communication going. We have spiritual awareness, quantum science, quantum physics is in this as well. And then NLP, neuro linguistic programming, I believe was what that is. And that's all about subconscious communication, which is the final step of the process. So thank you so much for being here with me through this entire course and making me realize how rich this system really is. Also making me aware that many of you need support as you go through these different steps to enhance mindful awareness, to achieve heart coherence, to accomplish that subconscious communication. So the next step, the next phase is going to be me partnering with other people, bringing in partners who are focused on those areas so that you can get one-on-one support and really make progress with all of this. But in the meantime, what I love about Heart Compass Life Navigation is that I'm not asking you to give up your current spiritual practice. Whatever it is that you're doing, you don't have to substitute one for the other, because Heart Compass Life Navigation has a synergistic effect with other practices. I know because through the years I have searched for other practices that could do everything Life Navigation does, or maybe better. And what I found instead was that as I learned these other techniques, such as tapping and healing codes and heart math and many others, which I'm going to talk about in the next lesson, that they actually work synergistically together. And so there's also opportunities here that if you're into tapping, if you're into law of attraction, and I'll talk about conscious evolution in a moment, or healing codes or compassion key or any of these other things, you don't have to give those up. You can add Heart Compass Life Navigation to it. But first I'm going to talk about conscious evolution, because Heart Compass Life Navigation is a practice that you can use to enhance your own personal conscious evolution as well as planetary conscious evolution. And we talked about that in Module 3. Barbara Marx Hubbard is the one who coined this. She's the one who, she is a social evolutionary, and you should look her up. She's done amazing things throughout her life. She talks about evolution by choice, not by chance. We're beginning to evolve consciously and not just by the process of selection. Okay? And I recently attended a seminar with her, and she says that there are 5 keys to our conscious evolution. The first one is answering, who am I? Activating that identity. Well, Metaphysics for Life is about who you really are. And I know many of you came from my website, metaphysicsforlife.com. And Heart Compass Life Navigation also brings us there. Activating a new vision of reality, activating new practices, creating a new map, and activating a new kind of community, which is what's happening here on the internet. All right, we're all getting together here in a way we never have before. So I'm going to talk about key number 3, activating new practices. She says that for conscious evolution to occur, we need a practice that allows us to remember who we really are. It allows us to access the part of ourselves that is God within. And it places attention and intention on what is evolving out of crises and circumstances in our daily life. Now, if that doesn't describe Heart Compass Life Navigation, I don't know what does, because it allows you to remember who you really are because you identify the false fear-based beliefs you have about yourself, and you access the God within your heart through to source, higher self, spirit, whatever it is you want to call it, the universe, and that gives you the love-based truth about who you really are. And it uses your current real life experience, okay, to identify the fear-based beliefs that you are using right now to create it so that you can get the love-based truth from the heart and evolve to a new level of conscious awareness. I mean, it is the perfect practice to combine with Barbara Marx Hubbard's conscious evolution philosophy to make progress in that direction. So once again, it allows us to identify who we really are. It creates a new vision of reality because it changes your perception. It is a new practice that you can use with other practices, and I'll talk about a couple more as we go along. And it creates a new map, or what is a map? Tells you where you really are and where you want to go. And new community. Well, when you use Heart Compass Life Navigation and you start making that heart-mind connection, you start connecting with other people. And that's the kind of community that we are creating here at the Virtual Learning Center, the online school, on Facebook, on YouTube, all of these places where we are coming together. So that's conscious evolution. Let's move on to one that is very well known. I'm sure that you've heard of this, maybe you've practiced it, emotional freedom technique, or tapping. Now, this is a technique that was created years ago by Gary Craig. He's the founder. He was actually an engineer trained at Stanford. He's not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. Just like me, he's not trained in those fields. He says it's actually a benefit because we don't have our heads filled with, what's it called? Ideas that are held to be true and that might not be. So he was free to create emotional freedom technique. And the bottom line is when you use it, it works. It's a kind of acupuncture without needles. It's a kind of acupressure. And if you go to emofree.com, you can get his manual. You can download it for free, just like you can get the Heart Compass Heart Compass Owner's Manual for free. We're on the same philosophy there. Plus, there's lots of videos and training, and you can also find practitioners who can help guide you through tapping if you need that. But what I love most about emotional freedom technique or tapping is that with Heart Compass Life Navigation, you can use the karate chop point, okay? And what this does is you usually do this at the beginning of the tapping technique. If you've done this, you know this. And what I love to do is say, even though I have these false fear-based beliefs, I still deeply love and accept myself. And what that does is it opens up the heart. You can feel it as it does it. It helps connect the heart and the head. You can feel that when you do it. So, do that right now. Even though I have these false fear-based beliefs, I still deeply love and accept myself. Doesn't that feel good? So you can start with that. And then when you identify your false fear-based beliefs for your certain circumstance, you can use the tapping points to tap them out. And you can find the manual so that you know where all the tapping points are and how to tap them out. Okay? Then after you tap them out, that helps move the activity in the brain even more out of the amygdala to the prefrontal cortex. You've opened up the energy flow in your body. You're even more ready to accept love-based truth than ever. So then you can go to the next step where you ask the heart for love-based truth, write that down, and then you can tap in the love-based truth. Okay? So it's a great synergistic effect. It's very powerful. If you need help identifying false fear-based beliefs, it's great to go see a tapping or emotional freedom technique trained practitioner. I've done that. I have just gone online and found someone in my own area so I could go meet with her face to face. And that was early on when I still needed some help identifying false fear-based beliefs in my own life. And further on, when I continue developing this program, I'll start bringing people here online into our community so that you won't have to go far. Now we can meet face to face here on the internet. It's great. And you can connect with people who will be able to help you identify fear-based beliefs, learn the tapping points, and be able to practice life navigation and tapping in a very powerful and effective way. So I love combining these two. It's one of the best combinations I've ever come across. But then, of course, there is the law of attraction. And I wanted to bring this up now because who hasn't heard about The Secret and the Law of Attraction? That movie back in the early 2000s, I think it was 2006, just made it famous worldwide. And that's great because there's some very important principles in there. However, when I first started practicing law of attraction, and I was very good at it, okay? I got my dream car, lots of money, health issues, all kinds of things were going great. But when I would go to a workshop, and I would spend thousands of dollars to go to a workshop, and I would ask, okay, are there going to be some techniques for practicing this? And they'd say, yeah. And I would go there, and we would all sit around tables like a bunch of kids, going through magazines, cutting out pictures and putting them on vision boards. Okay. Now, I know that for a lot of people this worked. I don't want to, poo-poo things. However, when I raised my hand and I said, I want to know what my heart truly desires. Okay. Not what my head thinks I want. Because as you can see in this picture, it's mostly a head thing. All right. Our brains are so influenced, so programmed by the media to, what we think will make us happy. Okay. Buy this product, get this house, make this money, find your soulmate, the American dream. I've been there. I've done that. Not only that, I found that some of the most successful people teaching law of attraction, they would find their soulmate. And then years later, I would find out, oh, now they're divorced. And they would make, $1 million. And a few years later, oh, they're getting sued for something and losing it all. And that happened in my own life as well. I attracted all these things using law of attraction. And because law of attraction is grounded in the illusion of separation, because how can you attract something if you don't first believe that it is separate from you? It has to be separate from you so that you can attract it to you. All right? Are you getting this? So those were the issues I was having with law of attraction. That's what led me to go to bed one night and say, universe, please show me something that will give me what my heart truly desires. And that's when the Heart Compass Life Navigation System came full blown into my mind. And I woke up in the morning and it was all there. All I had to do was get some office supplies and start practicing it. So I have to give you a word of caution here, though, because what your heart truly desires may not be what you think you want. Okay. I know in my own life, I thought I wanted millions of dollars to build a bigger home, have my mom come live with me, become a philanthropist. I mean, I had all these ideas of what I was going to be, do, and have. And when I started using Heart Compass Life Navigation and got the love-based truth, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Because we're not here. I'm not here to accumulate a bunch of stuff. And if I was living with my mom, that would not have been a good thing. It would have been a disaster. She's really happy in Scottsdale, Arizona, and she would not be happy up here. It wouldn't have worked out. So our heart knows what's best for us and for everyone in our lives. Let's see. So to overcome this dichotomy of what you think you want and what your heart truly desires, I stumbled upon this by accident one day. I realized that, wow, law of attraction is a great way to identify what I think I want. And I can write that down on Post-it notes because those are false fear-based beliefs. They're based in illusion of separation. And I could write those down on Post-it notes. I think I want this much money. I think I want this kind of house. I think I want this kind of mate, whatever it is. And then ask the heart for love-based truth. And your head might think, oh, I want enough money to, build a mansion. And your heart will say, like in my case, no, you want to live in a tiny house with a bunch of land. You don't want a big house. You want a lot of land and to be surrounded by nature. My heart knew exactly what my soul needs. All right. You might think oppositely that you only want enough money to fix the plumbing in your bathroom. So you write that down. I want enough money to fix the plumbing in my bathroom. And then you get the love-based truth from your heart, and it says, heck no, we want that new house down the block or in the next town. And when you get in alignment with that, with what your heart truly desires, trust me, it will find a way and you will end up. I never thought I would end up on 3 acres, here in Southern Oregon. I thought that was a dream that could never come true. And yet here I am. So when you get in alignment with what your heart truly desires, miracles can occur. It may not be what you think you want. It might be, but when you achieve it, it will satisfy, your soul, and be a step in the direction that your purpose, your meaning in life, is meant to accomplish here on Earth. So those are the three practices that we have looked at today. Okay, just to review very quickly, it's a synergistic effect. You don't have to eliminate your favorite spiritual practice. Next time, I'm going to go over some more practices so that you can see whatever it is that you're using, that there are ways to integrate it. All right? Because every spiritual technique will have one or more of these elements in it. You might be doing something right now to increase your mindful awareness. You might be doing things to enhance your brain. All right. You might be practicing heart math. All right. Or you might be studying quantum touch, quantum healing, Reiki, these other energy healing things. You might be trying to, listen to CDs and program the subconscious mind using neurolinguistic programming, these types of things. If you use Heart Compass Life Navigation with it, it will expand and empower whatever area it is that you are working on right now. Next time, I'm going to go over some more practices that I am familiar with, okay? The healing codes, the compassion key, and remote viewing and influencing. I'm only choosing these because I have experience with them. Whatever it is that you have experience with, as you see how I combine it with these types of practices, you will find ways to integrate it with your own practice. And if you need help with that, then you can upgrade to becoming a contributing community member, and you can schedule time with me and I can work with you one-on-one, all right, to integrate whatever practice you might be involved in. And as I said, in the future, I will be bringing other practitioners onto this platform so that they can teach you about whatever it is that they're working on, the tapping or the heart math or the remote viewing, all of those things, and how we would use life navigation with that. It's all about creating a mind with heart. It's all about identifying false fear-based beliefs. It's all about transforming the substance that we're using to create this physical life experience that we have right now, from fear-based to love-based. It's creating a mind, the space-time out here with heart. All right. So if you want to become a contributing community member, you can go to the Mind with Heart Virtual Learning Center to learn more. Somewhere on that page, you'll find a link to either buy or learn more, or you might get something in your email once you sign up. And so if you're not at the Virtual Learning Center right now, then go ahead and go there now and join, and you will find out how to do that, and you can gain access to more training. All right, then, let's see. So we are at about 20 minutes so far, and let's see, is there anything else? Okay, next week, we are going to go over, like I said, healing codes, compassion key, remote viewing and influencing. That's a lot of fun. And I'll take you further into this. And then finally, we're wrapping things up. This is the final module. And in the last lecture, I'm going to talk about what to do next. Okay? You've got Harkness Life Navigation, you've got the information behind it, you've got some ways to integrate it with your current practice. Where do we go from here? That's where we're going to go then. Well, thank you again so much for spending this time with me. I really appreciate your being here, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, bye for now.